Hello, welcome to Northwest Air Guns. I'm John, and today we're going to take a look at the new version of the Benjamin Model 392 multi-pump air rifle. This one here is in 22 caliber. The 397 is in 177, and Benjamin, Crossman, Velocity Outdoors, they no longer make a 20 caliber version of this. And this is, I think, identical to prior years, or at least recent years, but has a synthetic stock. And within the last few years, you had to order either the wood stock, which was the Model 392, or the Model 392S, which was the synthetic stock. No more wood stocks from here on out. It's only going to be the synthetic stock. So this is what you get. And I thought, actually, what we're going to do first is take a look at this in comparison to some prior years. One of the things that I find interesting when I'm looking at a new gun is to kind of see the evolution of that rifle. And of course, this front end scissor pump style has been around for about 100 years, and you know, in terms of the basic pumping. And what we have here is a Model 342. This one was manufactured in 1979, and it looks reasonably similar. It's maybe a little bit shorter. The action's a little shorter. This has the soldered valve in it, and it weighs 4.27 pounds, 4.3 pounds roughly. This one here is a 397 PA, probably manufactured in the mid-90s. It still has the tang safety here and the old style trigger. Now that one weighs in at 5.38 or 5.4 pounds. And our newest one, the 392S, you can see it's pretty similar, but has a little bit longer length on the fore end, which gives you a little bit better leverage. Slightly longer overall than either one of these, maybe an inch or so. And it weighs in at 5.6 pounds, so it's the heaviest of these three. One thing that I thought was interesting, I'd heard that there were some issues with the height of the comb on this, because your sights are up here, and if the comb is higher, it makes it a little awkward maybe to get a clean sight picture. So I thought we'd take a look at that. And on this one, the old 342, or the top of the comb is about 2 inches below the sight here. On the 397 PA, the high point of the comb is still about 2 inches. On the new 392S, the height of the comb is about 1 inch, inch and an eighth, something like that. So there is a difference in the height of the comb, and that may affect your ability to use the open sights and get a good cheek weld on it. Well, we're getting ready to go actually shoot the gun, but you'll notice there's no rear sight on this. I pulled it off, and I don't know if you've seen my other videos how I feel about these kind of wedge devices that fit on here, and in my opinion, they're designed to separate the barrel from the tube. I mean, they are rear. Some people like them. If you do, great. More power to you. But I don't, and I would suggest if you're going to shoot this with open sights, or shoot any of these guns with open sights, go ahead and utilize these two screw holes here that are pre-drilled for the Williams peep sight, aperture sight, and do it that way. But the problem with this gun actually is that the comb, I think we showed, is about an inch higher than on previous stocks. And so what happens is to your cheek and the stock and the comb and the sights, you have a hard time lining everything up. And you have to kind of contort your neck sideways in order to see the rear sight and the front sight and the target, given that this is a higher comb on this. And the solution, I think, is to put a scope on it, and that's what we're going to do. And the other thing is that I'm 66 years old, and I can no longer see a rear sight, a front sight, and a target in the same frame of view. I can see one, possibly two, but not all three at the same time. So accuracy testing with bad eyes is just an exercise in futility. So what we're going to do is put a scope on it, and let me show you what kind of mount we're going to use here. But what we're going to use is this mount here, and this comes from Baker Air Guns. I think they're the only distributor, and maybe they manufacture these, I don't know, but these are intended to fit over, let's see, over the receiver here, like that. So you're not going to mount them out here on the barrel. They go on the receiver, and again, they're designed in such a way that they're not pressuring the joint between the receiver and the tube, so they're not going to cause any separation. And this is a pretty robust mount, and I like this a lot. Like I say, it'll fit right over that. Anything that fits on top of here is going to impede a little bit when you load a pellet into here, but this has cut out to make it a little easier. And so this is the one we're going to use. I think this is $50 at Baker Air Guns, and I'll put a link to their site, and you can find these if you're interested in one. I'm not going to show how to mount it. They have a video on how to get this on. Basically, you got to take the cam cover off and take the bolt out, slide this on, put everything back. And so I'll link to that video, so if you're interested in how they do it, you can watch that one. So we take this rifle down into the Chronograph dark room and run it across the Chrony, and we're using a Crosman Premier 22 caliber 14.3 pellets. You can see that what we end up with is, with the different pumps put in there, we end up at top range of about 645 feet per second, which is about 13 foot-pounds. Plenty for most anything you'd want to do with this rifle. The next thing we did was test the trigger for the pull weight. This is the factory setting, and it averaged a little bit over 4 pounds, which is a little on the heavy side. It was consistent, broke in the same place, and so I suppose a person could get used to it. It's not readily adjustable, although if you wanted to, you could pull the stock and pull the trigger unit and maybe play with the springs or something like that to get it lighter. But that's what it was from the factory, a little over 4 pounds. All right, we've got our scope mounted here, and I forgot to mention that on this Baker Air Gun scope mount, it's set up for an 11 millimeter or 3/8 inch dovetail or Picatinny. Either one will work on it. So what I've done here is I've mounted MTC optics. This scope is from Air Guns of Arizona. It's a Viper X Series Connect 3-12 by 32, and I've had this for a couple of years. It came with this particular mount, which the mount itself and the construction of the scope means it's you have to locate it in a particular place on the mount. So this is maybe a little further back than I would prefer, but for just testing it out, I think it'll be fine. And this is pretty nice scopes. These Viper, the MTC Viper series scopes from Air Guns of Arizona are actually very nice scopes, and this will focus down to 10, maybe even a little bit less, 10 yards, 10 meters, and is variable power 3 to 12. So we've got it mounted, and we're ready to start shooting and see what kind of accuracy we get out of this thing in its stock form. Okay, we had plenty of groups out of this thing that measured ½ inch up to 3/4 of an inch, and but our best group was this one with the JSB Exact Jumbo RS, and it measured 3/8 of an inch center to center. So you can see the rifle's capable of pretty good accuracy. Well, that's about a wrap. You know, I'm 67 years old. I'm not into pumping pellet guns up like I was in my younger days, but if you don't mind pumping, this is a really good solution for a reasonably priced, reasonably accurate air rifle. It's got plenty of power for whatever you would normally shoot with an air gun, and at distances. The only real issue I have with it was the comb here, and being a little bit high to get a good sight line with the open sights. But you can cure that with a scope. This design's been around for decades, and it's a very reliable option for those who enjoy the variable power of a pump rifle.